The quarantine ward of the Celestial Harmony hummed with the sterile efficiency of advanced alien medicine. Nina pressed her face against the transparent barrier, watching the small Valkyrian cub shiver beneath thermal blankets that did nothing to comfort him. His violet fur had lost its usual luster, and his 6 ears drooped against his small head. His fever won't break, Dr. Zixter clicked, his mantis-like appendages gesturing helplessly at the holographic readouts. We've administered every antipyretic in the xenoph. His system rejects them all. Nina's chest tightened. Little Pip had been under her care in the civilian quarters for 3 cycles now. Ever since his parents were injured in the asteroid collision, the 8-year-old had crawled into her lap. During evacuation drills, watched human cartoons with her, and called her Auntie Nina in his chirping voice. Let me in there, Nina said firmly. The Valkyrian physician's compound eyes widened. Impossible. The pathogen is highly contagious to most species. You humans have only just joined the galactic community. We cannot risk. I'm going in. Nina. No. Leo's voice came from behind her. Her fellow human engineer jogged up, his jumpsuit still stained with coolant from the engine repairs. Your immune system might not what? Valkyrian flu is like a common cold to humans. You read the same xenobiology reports I did. Nina turned back to Dr. Zixter. Open the door or I'll override it myself. The doctor's translator chip struggled with her determination, finally rendering it as supreme maternal obstinacy. He chittered something that sounded like resignation and keyed open the barrier. Nina stepped through, and Pip's eyes, all 4 of them, focused weakly on her. Auntie Nina. Hey little star. She sat beside his bed, running her fingers through his fur. He was burning up. How are you feeling? Cold and my tummy hurts. Nina looked back at Leo through the barrier. An idea was forming, one rooted not in advanced medical science, but in something far older. Leo, I need you to get to the hydroponics bay. I need carrots, celery, onions, and garlic. Fresh if possible. Also, check if there's any poultry in the protein synthesis labs. Leo blinked. Nina, what are you? Just trust me. And bring a pot, water, and access to a heat source. Meet me in the ward's auxiliary kitchen. The ship is falling apart. We're 3 days from the nearest station, and you want to cook. Despite his words, Leo was already heading toward the exit. He knew that tone. Nina wasn't asking. Dr. Zixter watched this exchange with growing confusion. What is your intended treatment protocol? Chicken soup, Nina said simply. I do not understand. Chicken soup. This appears in no medical database. It wouldn't. Nina smiled, stroking Pip's fevered forehead. It's human medicine, the old kind. 2 hours later, the auxiliary kitchen filled with a scent that had never graced the Celestial Harmony before. Nina chopped vegetables with practiced efficiency while a whole synthesized chicken simmered in the pot, its skin golden and fragrant. She'd added bay leaves from the herb garden, peppercorns, and salt, basic ingredients that had sustained humans through millennia of illness. Leo watched her work, mesmerized by the ritualistic precision. My grandmother used to make this when I was sick. Everyone's grandmother did, Nina replied, straining the broth into a clean container. That's the point. She carried the steaming bowl back to Pip's bedside. The little Valkyrian's nose twitched, and for the first time in cycles, interest flickered in his eyes. What is that smell? Magic, Nina said, blowing on a spoonful. Open up. Pip sipped hesitantly, then his ears perked up slightly. He took another sip, then another. The warm broth slid down his throat, and Nina could almost see the tension leaving his small body. It's warm inside, Pip whispered. Not cold warm like the blankets. Warm like hugs. Nina fed him the entire bowl, and within an hour, Pip had fallen into the first restful sleep he'd had in 2 cycles. His breathing evened out. His fever began to drop, and his fur started regaining its sheen. Dr. Zixter stood at the barrier, his medical scanner chirping frantically. Impossible. His inflammatory markers are decreasing. His immune response is stabilizing. What was in that solution? Chicken, vegetables, water, salt, love, Nina listed. And time. Love is not a quantifiable medical compound. Maybe that's your problem. Word spread through the medical bay like wildfire. By the next ship cycle, Nina had a line of alien medical staff at her door. Dr. Zixter had taken a sample of the soup, analyzed it, and the results had baffled the entire xenopharmaceutical department. The nutritional profile is adequate but not exceptional. The Valkyrian doctor explained to the gathered crowd of physicians from a dozen species, yet the curative properties exceed our most advanced immune boosters. How Commander Thaler, Crystalline Zephyrian, who led the medical bay, floated forward. Her voice resonated like wind chimes. Human Nina, We formally request this recipe for our pharmaceutical database. If this chicken soup can aid healing across multiple biological matrices, it could revolutionize treatment protocols. Nina looked at Leo, who shrugged with an amused smile. She turned back to the assembly of galaxy-renowned doctors and said, "I'll teach you. But you have to understand it's not just about the ingredients, it's about making it with intention, with care." Over the next cycle, the auxiliary kitchen became an unexpected classroom. Nina demonstrated while species from across the galactic community took notes on their various recording devices. A Thrunian physician with 8 arms proved surprisingly adept at chopping vegetables. A gaseous Helixian somehow managed to stir the pot despite having no solid form. "The key is patience," Nina explained, showing them how to skim the foam, how to know when the broth was ready by color and smell rather than senses. This isn't fast medicine, it's comfort, it's tradition, it's telling someone they're worth the time it takes to make something from scratch. Little Pip recovered fully within 3 cycles, and the recipe for human chicken soup became the most requested item in the ship's medical database. Dr. Zixter even began prescribing it alongside conventional treatments, noting remarkable improvements in patient morale and recovery times. As the Celestial Harmony limped into dock for repairs, Commander Thaler approached Nina in the corridor. "Your species is peculiar, human Nina. You join the stars with slower-than-light engines, fragile bodies and medicine made from dead birds and vegetables. Yet you bring something we've lost in our advancement." "What's that?" Nina asked. "The understanding that healing is not merely chemical, but emotional. That sometimes, the best medicine is knowing someone cares enough to make you soup." Nina smiled, watching Leo help little Pip toddle down the corridor, the cub's violet fur, now glossy and bright. "We're pretty good at caring, Commander. It's kind of our thing." Behind them, in the medical bay, Dr. Zixter carefully entered the recipe into the permanent archive, adding a note in human English that the translator preserved exactly, "Made with love. This is essential. Do not omit." And across the galaxy, as humans continued their slow but determined journey to the stars, they brought with them not just technology and knowledge, but something far more profound, the simple, ancient wisdom that, sometimes, the best way to say I care is with a warm bowl of soup.